I'm Norm Easterbrook, Director of RiverCenter here in Columbus, Georgia. For more than a year, the COVID-19 crisis has been ravaging our entertainment, arts, and cultural communities. The day that we can once again welcome audiences is now in sight, and we are eagerly planning how to restart the arts in Columbus, Georgia. You are an important part of our success, and you can help us get started even sooner. I join with my colleagues throughout the arts and entertainment community in encouraging you to get vaccinated as soon as you possibly can. Here at RiverCenter, we thought it would be useful to share with audiences and patrons of the arts how our various institutions have been managing this past year, but most importantly, what to look forward to as we restart the arts. RiverCenter, Arts in the Spotlight, is a series of conversations focusing on how restarting our entertainment, art, and cultural organizations will look and what that means to our community. Let's start the conversation. Our conversation today is with Paul Pierce, Producing Artistic Director of the Springer Opera House. Paul, thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate your coming out.
Hey, it's great to be here in beautiful RiverCenter for the Performing Arts.
You know, our community really is blessed. We've got a plethora of theaters downtown.
We do.
Some really beautiful theaters, you know, from the very beautiful historic theater, such as this Opera House, and you know, a facility like this, and then just a wonderful teaching facility as well.
You really have to go to much bigger cities to find this many theaters in such a close proximity.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I did just a little bit of research, graduated at the University of Georgia, I believe.
I did.
And
Go Dogs.
Yeah, there you go. And you've been with the Springer, I'm going to say, for more than 30 years. I don't have an exact number.
This is my 33rd season at the Springer.
Congratulations. You know, I know Columbus is truly fortunate to have you and just really only a couple of other folks really that are kind of the pillars of our cultural community and have stuck with it and committed their lives to that.
There's only one other person in town that's been here longer than I have, and that's George Del Gobo. He came the year before I did, from Fort Worth. And so within a very short period of time, George came, I came, Larry Campbell, who was the director of the Trade Center, came that same year. There were a lot of people.
Yeah. So it begs the question, 33 years, why do you do this?
Well, you know, before I...
Usually when you go to UGA, it's for engineering, isn't it?
Oh, right. Had a lot to do with my early experiences in the arts. I got out of Georgia and immediately was blessed to have a national tour with a company called Repertory Theater of America. And it was a rep company with 3 different units, and each unit traveled different parts of the country. And it was a 10-month national tour. And at the Christmas time, the units switched, and you went to another part of the country. And so one of the things I found on that tour were that, one, audiences were pretty much the same everywhere we went, but that the smaller communities really were hungry for what we did. And I grew to love going and playing for those communities and sometimes doing educational programs for them. But after that, I did 3 of those national tours for RTA. Then I worked for some children's theater companies on tour and regional theaters around the country, and really grew to realize that, one, New York was going to be just fine without Paul Pierce, but that there were places in America that needed me. That may sound, sort of self-serving or something, but I felt like it was probably that part of the mission, basically a missionary experience where I could bring what I had to a town and really create something special.
Well, Columbus needed you. I mean, and I think that's how everybody kind of finds their place, is where do you settle and where are you most comfortable, where do you most feel at home? Is there a moment in your background, I'm going to say in your youth, where it kind of clicked and you said, oh yeah, theater's what I'm going to do, and it doesn't matter what I do?
First of all, I came from a town, Rome, Georgia, that did not have a theater program in high school. honestly, I did not see my first play until I was a freshman in college. And I went to Georgia for two things, girls and beer. And that was kind of it. And there was a girl in my math class that said that she had a friend that was in a play in the drama department, and did I want to go with her? And I said, well, sure, can we have some beer afterwards? And she said yes. So it was a perfect evening for me. But I went to see this children's theater production, and I sat there, and I'd never really seen the lights and the costumes and the people, and they were speaking lines, and they weren't bumping into the furniture or anything. Nothing went wrong. And I sat there for the first time and said, you know, I could do that. Yeah. And the very next day, I declared myself a drama major. And but I have to say, Norm, that my experiences before that, I come from a working class family. In fact, we were not poor, we were po. And po is the way I grew up, and I thought that maybe the height of my experience growing up in Rome would be that I would work at one of the local factories and have a job, which is what a lot of people did when they didn't know what to do in Rome, Georgia. They knew they could always get on at the mill. Yeah. And I did. So for a while when I was in high school, first couple years in college, I went to the local community college first and worked in the mills. I built houses. I worked at a service station. I fried chicken. I did a lot of different things. But by the time I got to the theater, I felt like all those things that I'd done before were informing what I was doing in the theater, whether it was acting or whether it was doing what a lot of students do, build scenery, build costumes, properties, things like that. And so I felt like I was ready for the theater when my time came.
In getting ready for the theater, you know, you're an individual in our community that lots of young people are going to look up to. I mean, they're through the Springer Academy. They see you come out on stage and welcome the audiences, and I can imagine there are probably, I would say, easily hundreds of people that say, I want to do what Paul Pierce does. What's the nugget of advice that you have for them?
Say yes. Mm-hmm. You know, the way I think people get into doing things is they don't edit too much. Ron Anderson, my late colleague, used to say, plans are overrated. But I say, if you keep saying yes to opportunities, a path will develop for you. And whether it's saying yes to doing the church play or doing something with a storefront theater or anything, a skit in high school, say yes to it, get on stage, write, perform, have the experience of being under the lights. And before long, if you keep saying yes enough, a thing will form.
You're a playwright.
I am.
What? Tell me, have you got a project in the works right now?
Well, I've got a couple of them. One is a film. You know, you may have heard that Georgia is emerging as a film hub. And for those people watching who might be interested in film or television, I would just say one thing: content is everything. And the industry is searching for content. And so a few years ago, I adapted Karen Spears Zacharias' novel, Mother of Rain, to the stage, and we produced it at the Springer. And now, you know, it's an Appalachian story about a tri-racial community in the mountains, and it seems like its time has come. And I've got several people in the industry that are
terrific,
encouraging me to adapt that to the screen, and
that's just
what I'm working on.
Yeah. You know, we can talk. I mean, we're sitting here 6 feet apart, and we've got extra ventilation going on, and we're wearing our masks. Everybody around us is wearing a mask, and you know, COVID has had that real devastating effect on the arts and culture, and we know that. Tell us about the Springer, how you've adapted to that. I mean, it's clear you've got the beautiful outdoor stage right now. How's all that going? Just singing in the rain and Cotton Patch Gospel.
Well, I'm glad it's me That's one feeling I have right now, and not the 32-year-old me. At the age of 32, I was looking to do things that people do, to learn the ropes of the industry. And now it's about innovation. And it's about coming up with 3 plans and being prepared to toss 2 of them in the trash in a moment's notice. And that's kind of the way we've been going. At first, you probably had the same experience. The first couple of 3 months, it was very frustrating because everything that we decided this week, we had to throw away next week.
Yeah.
And things were changing so fast. And so we just kind of got to the point where we accepted the fact that things were going to change and that our ability to adapt and be agile and be responsive was going to determine how we did things.
Isn't that part of saying yes to everything?
That's right. That's right.
I think that leads into it. And, we've got just 2 or 3 more minutes, but when you talked about, the same feelings and emotions we had when all of this stopped, I wonder, is there, and I've asked this of everyone so far in these initial talks, has there been a piece of music, a scene from a play or something that you return to time and again to help you get through the challenges? It may have been different from time to time.
Something from a play that has informed me.
A piece of art, anything.
I'll tell you, I was describing this yesterday. There is a syndrome. What is the name of it? There's a name for this thing in which you may have experienced it yourself, where you go to a museum and you start to feel faint and you start to be overwhelmed by the creativity around you or the greatness of the art. I have that syndrome. And honestly, whether I go to the Met or the Louvre or the National Gallery of Art, whatever it is, I very frequently go through, and within 30 or 40 minutes, I feel like I'm going to die. Honestly, I feel like this is the end of my life. And it's the overwhelming experience of great art being around me. And I've always been fascinated with this. It happened to me first when I went to the Metropolitan Museum in New York as a young man. And I did, what's happening to me? I think I'm going to die today. And what I have to say, and I think about this frequently, is it means we're alive and we're open to the mysteries of art. And so someone mentioned the Louvre to me yesterday, and I told them 2 years ago when I was at the Louvre, I thought I would die that day. And they didn't know what I was talking about. And I said, the way I interpret it is if we open ourselves up to the mysteries and the power of art, we will be transformed. Yeah. And you know what? We might die because of it. And I say,
that's okay.
What a better way to go.
Yeah, that's okay.
Take me now.
Listen, tell me, we got about 45 seconds now. And I know this is going to be tough.
Okay.
All right. What do we have to look forward to? April, May. Give us some titles we need to look out for.
We'll be opening the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in our outdoor theater stage. We'll be doing Spam-A-Lot. That's going to be in June. We've got a children's show, Click Clack Moo, Planes, Trains, and Things That Go Zoom is a theater for the very young event. We've got a lot of theater. And we're going to try and make it as comfortable as possible. If it's rainy, bring a raincoat. If it's warm, wear a hat.
And by that time, everyone's going to be vaccinated, and we will be quickly approaching herd immunity.
That's the dream.
Paul, thank you very, very much for coming to spend time with us. I really appreciate it a great deal. And in recognition of your visit, I'd like to present you with a RiverCenter face mask, which I hope you will wear with pride everywhere you go.
I will. Thank you, Norm. You are really a good interviewer, I have to say. Let's do this again.
It's just having a chat. We'll do it again, Paul. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining this RiverCenter Arts in the Spotlight conversation. If you would like to suggest a topic, organization, or individual for us to include in these conversations, please contact us through our website, www.rivercenter.org. And finally, you are important to us. Please take care and get vaccinated as soon as you can. If we all do our part, we'll be together sooner to celebrate the entertainment, art, and culture that defines Columbus as a great place to live, work, and play. We look forward to continuing these conversations as we restart the arts in Columbus, Georgia.